call the May 21st, 2024 regular Board of Education meeting to order at 7 p.m. So, other than roll call. Gwen Eilick. Here. David Costa. Here. Stephanie Howe. Here. Daniel Golick. Steve Sebastian. Here. Michelle Shaw. Here. Josie Shattuck. Quorum present. Okay. May I have a motion to amend the agenda to include an executive session at the end of the meeting before adjournment? Still it. Second. Thank you. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Pledge of Allegiance.
May the audience please rise. Are we ready? Prepare to toss the colors. Close the covers. Please join the independent pledge of allegiance. And pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard dismissed.
Thank you. Thank you. Public participation. If you have questions or statements that pertain to agenda items or wish to address the board on other topics, this is your opportunity. You must sign up to address the board.
Slide the thing in the front. The thing in the front, slide.
When your name is called, please stand, identify yourself, and indicate the agenda item or topic you wish to refer to consistent with Open Act Meetings Act and board policy. Public participation in school board meetings and petitions of board. We will reserve 45 minutes for public comment, 3 minutes maximum per person during the board meeting. Seeing none, we will move on the checklist of administrative reports.
Yes, right? Ms. Modell?
Yes, so in our building administrative report, we highlighted a bunch of things in there, so please take a minute if you haven't already done so. Before we get started with our presentation, our Prairie Junior High Jazz Band 1 had a pretty phenomenal recognition where they received an award as the Junior High School Large Ensemble winner for the 47th Annual Downbeat Student Music Awards. We had concluded our track and field season just last weekend. We had an 8th grader attend state high, and he did place second in the 800, which was he broke the previous state record, so that was pretty phenomenal as well. And last week at Prairie Junior High, we had our Week of Hope, which is sponsored and put together by our Hope Squad. So we thought it timely to invite them to share a little bit about Hope Squad with you here tonight. So Mrs. Peach is one of our Hope Squad advisors, and we have 2 of our Hope Squad members here tonight. So let's give them a little
Okay, well, Brennan is also a wonderful colleague that facilitates Hope Squad with us, but she had an emergency, could not make it tonight. So we have 2 of our Hope Squad members helping us, right? Why do we have a Hope Squad? Still relatively new, because when we started it, it was in 2020, which you all know was the year of chaos for 2020, 2021. Unfortunately, teen suicide is now the 2nd leading cause of death among kids that age group. Some research says between 10 and 14 is actually the 1st leading cause of death. So we want to bring awareness and recognition so that kids feel they have somebody to talk to, because it's just such an important piece of it. So the reason that we have a Hope Squad, also, if you look at the actual point, is that kids spend about the same amount of time sleeping as they do at school. And which means they spend so much of their time surrounded by peers who can recognize their feelings. They can see if they're sad, they can see if they're depressed, they can see if they're happy. They recognize their feelings, and research shows that peers, when they do feel depressed, when they do feel anxious, if they do have thoughts of suicide, are going to talk to a friend about it first before they seek out any adult. So we want to have kids trained, a squad of kids, which, thank goodness, this year is up to 30. We have a lot of kids who want to join and be part of this. And so then we go through training so that they know how to respond and how to get the proper help for kids that are feeling this way. Okay, so that's what they're here to talk about. Who our Hope Squad members are, and this is Erica Butler,
Okay,
and she's going to talk about this.
Okay, so students can be nominated by peers or students can join if they show interest in the cause, I guess, in helping their peers. And so a student who is respected as being kind and non-judgmental is typically someone in the Hope Squad, and someone willing to reach out to those who may need a helping hand. Our Hope Squad members training include how to find mental health resources, how to recognize when someone needs help, how to help peers having suicidal thoughts, how to listen and empathize with peers, how to connect with peers, how to deal with tough time, and how to help someone with tough times, mental health and mental health challenges, how to deal with peer pressure.
So we don't just train them on how to respond and get the help, but also how to take care of themselves. Because if they are dealing with serious issues and friends are going through this, it's important that they take care of themselves also and know how to do that to remain strong and to remain positive. So we spend our time training on both of those. And this is Travis Card, and he's going to talk about all the wonderful service projects that we accomplished this year.
We partnered with a nonprofit group or organization called Fisher Outreach Group, and we did two projects in December. First, we invited students and teachers to come together and create personalized cards for the local community. This was a wonderful opportunity to connect generations and make a positive impact on lives of our local students. We were able to provide about 300 homemade holiday cards.
And the students really got into it. They really enjoyed making cards for the seniors, and then they were delivered. We said we gave them to Fisher Outreach Group, and they delivered them locally to the nursing homes.
Second, Hope Squad led a winter drive for the homeless veterans. We were beyond fortunate to pack a van full of necessities to donate. The class that donated the most items was awarded a pizza party provided by Fisher Outreach. Lastly, our spring Hope Squad project centered around connection. Hope Squad spent time making homemade cards for children in local hospitals. The overall goal was of making homemade cards for hospitalized kids was meant to be a meaningful and impactful way to show support, spread positivity, and foster empathy and compassion among students.
So we really try not just to raise suicide awareness, but to talk about empathy and talk about reaching out to others and just being of service to the community wherever we can, right? Showing kindness, helping empower them and others.
So every year in the spring, Hope Squad plans a Hope Week. It's designed to encourage the school community and activities that bring hope, encouragement, and promote suicide prevention awareness. Last week was our Hope Week, and it was a big success. Each day had themes. Monday was mindfulness. Tuesday was Hope Day. Let's learn about coping and cultivating hope. Wednesday, Hands for Hope. Students took a hope pledge, then traced their hands and put their names on them. And then those are around the school, so in each pod, kind of have them for each grade level. Thursday, Take Care of Yourself. Thursday and Friday was semicolon day.
Okay. And it's because the semicolon is a symbol, and it's like the author wanted to keep going. He chose not to end his sentence. Instead, he used a semicolon. And so that's what it represents for them to continue their story. And Mrs. Brennan has been great. This is her first year. This is my second year. And Mrs. Brennan has really been great with adding like a lot of new ideas, and she's got the knowledge on the community resources that we can really reach out to find help with donations or who we can do these service projects for.
Some of our Hope Week highlights and some of the activities we offered were There's of Dogs, Freezy Pops, which we sold during lunch, Shred Your Stress station during lunch, possibly stickers and tattoos, and Hope Squad table / raffle.
Yes, and the one thing that we didn't put up there is, here we can see we have a speaker, Kevin Briggs, what's his name for a minute, and he was a first responder on the Golden Gate Bridge. So he had a lot of stories about people that he had helped, and then how he's made connections in own life. And what did you guys think of?
It was good. It was good. But he did a really good job.
So, I want to thank all of our members. They ran the lunch stations. They stayed after school to help do the Hope Week window. And getting our Hope Week ready, making copies, hanging stuff up, running the raffle table. Travis was there for that also. Okay, and then of course, staff who was willing to do this every day in study hall, run these activities. So, and we thought it was a successful week. I was kind of sad that we cleaned the window off today, because I thought it was very colorful, very pretty, but clean it up. And there's Travis at our fine arts night. I don't know anything else, but you guys can know.
Thank you.
I'll say I personally enjoyed Shred Your Stress. I like shredding paper, it's a lot of fun.
That's what we enjoyed shredding. I think you started the line to it, then people were like, okay, I'll
It
do
was a good
that,
time.
right? Yeah, good job.
One comment, I was at the Fine Arts Night, you guys did an amazing job at the table, getting up, presenting what the cause was for, what you were selling raffle tickets for, and Fine Arts Night across the board, absolutely blew me away. It was awesome, the effort that went into it, you could tell it was done with passion, so great, well done.
Great job. Good job, Laura.
So my report is in the packet. Of course, it's been a frantically busy week, a busy month in Springfield. And the majority of the verbiage in my report is dealing with legislation that is pending before the legislature in either of the houses. There are a variety of bills that would have impact, of course, on schools and Prairie in particular. There's nothing here that is as so concerning that I've had to reach out to talking to the legislators here, but there's something we're constantly watching. I know that School Board Association, the IASA, the Springfield Association, we all have lobbyists for maintaining, watching these bills as they go through. This should mostly end Friday, so we'll see what the final tally is as far as bills get passed and their impact on education. Construction is moving along. Today was our standard Tuesday OACM meeting. Right now, the roof on the new addition, the roof is done, walls are up, framing on the inside is going on. You'll see windows being installed tomorrow. It won't be long. You'll see face brick run on, the rooftop unit be craned in and attached, and we are moving, I would say, too far ahead of schedule. We are doing well on the addition. And then, of course, the interior work begins with a pavement project in the ECE classrooms. That will begin on Friday or Saturday, June 1st. So that'll start on those days. And then carry over to the other areas that have asbestos to be remediated. That will be done the following week when school is out for the K-8 students. A few pictures there in your board packet, and we have hundreds of those. I constantly look up to the board every week. We have lots more. If you want to come and take a look out there one of these days in the sunlight, daylight, let me know, but I can walk through there and show you that. I did invite George and Stuart from White County, the district's architectural firm. They've been with us now for a number of years. And I'm gonna let Stuart, I think he's gonna present, kind of give the board a reminder update as to where we are based on the 2017-2018 master facility plan that was conducted by the district. Where we are in that process and kind of get a feel from the board on what direction. I think we have a few possible options moving forward. See what your desire is to move forward if another project, maybe in 25, 26, 27, somewhere in there. So, anything else, I'll let Stuart talk a little bit. His slide deck is in here. I got to upload it today.
Hopefully you've had a chance to take a quick look at this, but it's always kind of fun in a way going back and looking at a master plan diagram after 4 or 5 years. This goes back, I think we did the master plan in 2018, 2019, first project, summer of 2019. Or actually we did the 2018, we did the library and STEM renovations, so we're really in that 6th year. And the things are kind of sticking really true to the spirit of the master plan. Details change, pace changes. We explored a lot of options to build more, obviously, to see what the pulse was in the community to build. And I think it's been a great partnership working with you to make the master plan realized. And the sign of a good master plan is regardless of what happens, all these things, good and bad, you still come back to a roadmap that got you to where you want to go. Now you're growing, you're gaining enrollment, so it's putting pressure on pace. So quick review of the master plan was back in 2018, we did a facilities condition assessment to look at the conditions of the building. The health, life, safety had been, a decennial survey had to be completed in 2017. And then we also did what's kind of an educational analysis of need. So you put all that stuff together and you get a master plan. And the master plan is driven by education goals, facility condition needs, health, life, safety, in a cohesive manner, put it all together. And it really evolved around evaluating how the building classrooms would be expanding and contracting, providing more personalized learning opportunities. So you weren't putting specialists in rooms that were really meant for other things like storage and not really meant for professionals to be working with kids in a nice learning environment. So those were a lot of the big goals, and also just to take care of health, life safety needs, code violations, things that evolve over time as the building gets older. And so we've come to a good place where a lot of that detail of health, life safety is taken care of. And now we're really focusing on the broader big picture things. So we started with that library STEM renovation project, worked through the expansion of the junior high, and then worked back into the building. I think the next diagram shows all those little tiny things. We would have to put a shading tone on the entire floor plan really to say what we did, and that's the purpose of the next slide. And then finally, we're going to build this this next addition down here, where it's literally under construction and happening for 3rd, 4th grade, which was really is kind of that final throw until we make that connection. Good things happen in the bidding environment. There was a big kind of turnabout. If you think about where estimates were and where the project came in, it allowed you to be able to construct the entire loop and the parking lot. Huge benefit and some potential future parking improvements there as we work through some of the permitting with IDOT. So that's kind of what's to come, what you've done and what's to come. You'll remember a lot of discussion about stormwater detention, where do you put it, how much you need. We ended up splitting it into 2 pieces, one on the west, one on the east, and coordinated that with the parking lot. That should provide the majority of the needs. If we consider some future expansion, we'll talk about that in a moment, about either making this bigger, deeper, or doing some freestanding work over there. And this thing down here will always just be an empty field. The state required that a future septic system replacement area be identified as a requirement by code. And that's, if this failed for any reason, you'd have a place where you could build while you're trying to keep this going until you can replace it. It's an unusual need, but it's just basically a holdover, which you'll probably never execute. But you do have some flexibility for some additional site area. We know you have your future solar array coming in, which is a really cool thing to do. Not many schools have all this land available to build a freestanding ground-mounted solar array of that capacity, so it's a huge, huge opportunity. So a lot of great things have happened over these past 6 years, and I think many good things to come. So I mentioned this briefly. These little colored dots really talk about everything from replacing door hardware to fixing some brick that was bowing, replacing some windows, fire separations, all the things that just show up in health, life, safety, and conditions assessments that just need to get fixed when buildings turn 20, 40, 60 years old. Just what needs to be done as a part of keeping a real estate portfolio going and safe for kids, and then also transitioning into new learning environments, new technologies happen to control mechanical systems. What this kind of tag about MEP work, what we didn't point out is you've replaced your camping that's all over the junior high. And in elementary, we put new boilers in. We've done all kinds of what I call infrastructural work, replaced toilet rooms, literally got them and put new toilets in. It's all part of the way of bringing a building up and making it comfortable and modernized. So it's where we've been. Are there any questions about some of that history? It's kind of, this is rearview mirror. Okay, so where do we need to go? Where could you potentially go? Really, if you were to pull out the old master plan, you see a lot of the same themes, but I'll kind of go through these in order of the numbers. Administrative offices have moved around both the elementary, middle, and the district administration as we've been juggling and looking for space, and as you've gotten more kindergarten students than you expected originally. And so that is a need. Storage has been displaced. Mobile storage units in bad condition have been removed. You know, one newer one remains until we're at a time where we can find room for that storage to get the transportation offices back in. So addressing that in some fashion is a big need. We've outlined a couple possibilities. An interesting opportunity kind of arose as we looked at this entrance drive and the former, that's mostly the former farm area. There's kind of like a big drop off, at least 8 feet, I can't remember the exact dimension. So there's an opportunity to look at putting, some district offices and storage in there and do it in a way where you don't have to build infrastructure to get there. You already have it. It's being built this summer. Super efficient. So that's a potential area. We always looked at the idea of closing the loop to connect the hallways in these two wings. So anything could go in there, either transportation office, administration. At some point, this will become the new entrance to the whole school. So that's something that's out there in the future. So number one deals with those kinds of issues, and you're pre-positioned really well to get all that built. Number two is the gymnasium and locker room expansion. So the gym right behind us, in this space, modest in size, hard to fit enough people in for spectators. Gym itself is really tight, not a lot of space around the edge of the court itself. So during the master plan, we always looked at the opportunity, what can we do with a tall ceiling space of good size when a new gym would be reconsidered. And one of the things that we thought a lot about was where we're going to put music and band. Never really had a good home in this building. When you design large music spaces, or reasonably large, you need volume and you need space. And you can't acoustically It's much easier to provide the right size and height of a room and then tune it with acoustical panels than to try to make it good and accessible with acoustical panels when it's too small. So this existing gym would be a great place to remodel and create some of those larger venue spaces. It's not the only solution that could be possible, but we think that's something that should be explored if building, gym and locker rooms is in the cards as a future improvement to the building. So that was number 2 and number 3 on the map. And by the way, so if you were to build a new gym and locker rooms, it would be done in this area just south of the addition, I think. What we would explore most likely is once we confirm what your priorities are, then we can take a step back and actually create a conceptual design for what the actual architectural shape would be of an addition that would have a gym, have locker rooms, maybe some more classrooms, administrative offices, building entrance, so that it can all fit in this space. Think of this as a diagram. We're not proposing round walls, oval-shaped rooms, but so that would be, this area was always planned for that type of expansion. It would most likely mean dealing with some of the existing play space. That's a detail, again, that would be worked out in a design itself. We've been, understanding that throughout this whole master plan, we've never really done much work in the kitchen area. I think we addressed some ventilation issues in there that were basically essentially code violations, but not necessarily to fix kitchen equipment itself, assess that it meets your program. We know you've worked with consultants before to design the kind of food you want to prepare for the students with scratch cooking, and so the master plan is always an opportunity to take a step back and make sure you have the right equipment for what you want to accomplish, or at least fix what you have. Understand some of that equipment is at the end of its useful life. And that's within the building here, and that would also displace a space, because I think you have art. Or actually, no, the band itself is down here. Yeah, art is the other space adjacent. So that would give you an opportunity, if you needed to, expand the kitchen and just deal with things in place in the right location. You still have access to outdoors, so you can always bring deliveries in, so it's actually a really good location. The parking lot, reconfiguration and replacement of the parking lot, it's been designed, it's in for permit. IDOT is taking their sweet time, and as soon as we have that permit back, and if it's a priority, you'll have the opportunity to bid it and get it built next summer, if that's still a priority as you look at all this list of things. And then the final thing is renovating the remainder of the elementary school. You'll see in the previous diagrams, we've hit a lot of it. We actually, over time, we ended up doing a lot of things I didn't think we'd be able to get to at this point. But I think the opportunity now is to take a step back and look at this idea of equitable classrooms so that they all have the same features. You got a lot of new furniture either way, but coming back in and just making sure technology and finishes and ceilings, lightings, doors, all those things have been updated to the standards of all the other classrooms in the building. And I think that kind of resides around the end of this wing. I'm sorry, not that wing, that's the building addition. The end of this wing, and of course the north wing. The north wing has been a topic of discussion since the beginning. You keep it, you tear it down, rebuild it. We've done the minimal work we can to meet health, life, safety code. So all the doorway entrances now have the fire separation they require. Air conditioning was added through window units, which is really considered more of a short-term solution, not a long-term solution. So a long-term solution would be to come in and put a new mechanical system in that part of the building. Potentially new laying ceilings or exposed ductwork, whichever aesthetic choice you want. But to finish that off, we've done some finish improvements in there, but it's not completed. And that would be potentially a next step. Or if you chose to, we was always discussion about the future of Route 176, should it expand and widen? The building addition is really close to the road. That might still be a priority, it's still something that you have an opportunity to make that decision or have that kind of in the list of things that you could rank in priority. So, and with this open area on the site, there's always the opportunity to look at improvements to other site features like the track. We hadn't really, that hadn't risen to the top, we really didn't label it on here. But I think this future septic system replacement area, it has to be approved. So if you decide you want to reconfigure this area, we could re-explore it and reapply for a reconfiguration of that replacement area. So it's not written in stone that it has to exactly be here, but until we make that change from an approval standpoint. So it means you have a lot of opportunity, you have a lot of land to do the things you need to do. It's just a matter of what your priorities are. So I think maybe I should ask, do you have any questions? And then really kind of open it up for discussion and Dr. Butte with however you'd like to do that.
So Stuart and I've had multiple conversations over a number of days and weeks. George has been involved in this conversation, other folks at White Company. And while I have my personal preferences as to what direction I think the district should go, it's not really it's your call, not mine. I just wanted Stuart to come in and show you where we've been, what our plan was all along, and here's where the kind of the six-legged crossroad that we're at, and which of these paths is more of a priority for you than others might be. And now we're not saying that we're going to go out and fund these next year and make these all happen, but we kind of need like a direction about how we're going to plan it out based on what your preferences are in which direction would be most important to you.
Yeah, maybe one thing to add to that, this is a good time. One of the reasons that I pressed when talking to John about this is let's have a conversation now. Because if we want to build next summer, continue to do some projects, George and I were talking, looking at the schedules. We'd like to get started as soon as we can. If you have a project you feel needs to be done and you want it to be done next summer, other than the parking lot, because that's already kind of in the pipeline. The sooner we get started, the better off, because then the earlier we can bid it, the better pricing we're going to get. Materials are still, it's gotten a lot better, but if you think about mechanical units, transformers, electrical switch gear, I don't know what else these days, even lockers.
Those are the big things.
Yeah.
Lockers and doors, I mean, aluminum mattresses take a long time, stuff like that.
Yeah, so we thought, let's get you thinking about this now, and we can always, I think we've demonstrated we can design really quickly, and get things out to bid really quickly, but the more time we have, the more flexibility we have.
While you're thinking about that, just we're in a tornado watch now, and it played 15 minutes ago, so just, if the sirens go off, we won't vacate the space and go.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
It did occur to me, it's been really hot today, and it's hot air blowing around, so.
I don't know, maybe a question statement. Like I was under a feeling that we were kind of done for a while, or like we're gonna do this last construction right here, and then we're not gonna think about it for a couple of years. You know, that we really pushed, we didn't do it with the referendum, but we got what we needed to get done. So I'm just kind of like, I hear some of the things, but I'm like, I didn't really necessarily think I had to think about it at all for like 3 years, but I don't know, like, I'm just kind of trying to understand. I know it's good to have a long-term plan, but I felt like we buttoned it up, this one's our building construction phase of our lives for a little bit.
You know,
Oh, okay,
I felt the same way.
okay. Like, I need to see
There's always
this,
stuff you could do. but
yeah, but nothing that we need to do right now.
Not the last round of bonds, was kind of the last opportunity, and
So you're correct. When the last round of bonds put us to a point where we really don't want to bond anything else. But as Stuart did allude to, this particular project, the bids came back really favorable. And we are expecting to have some monies left over from this summer's project.
What is the sum of monies that we're anticipating to have left over?
It would be around $1 million.
We don't have to spend it.
We could absolutely not spend it. We could absolutely not spend it. Of course you can.
Does that include the parking lot, west,
I'm not including the parking lot.
That parking lot
Is that
is what I'm
like
thinking
safety?
about.
That's, I'll say that.
Yeah, got it.
Different pot of money.
That parking lot wasn't on our plans, right?
5, up on board 5.
No, the one that's under the, yeah, those,
Between the
Correct.
town land.
That was an alternate bid.
and we accepted the alternate, or?
Yeah,
Oh.
we did. The only alternate we didn't take was the trellis.
Who's that parking lot for?
That's gonna be, the bus drivers will park there, we'll have staff that work on that side of them that will park there. And then all the days that we have, on our side, when we utilize Snap-on's parking lot, we won't use Snap-on's parking lot, we use our own parking lot first.
It's gonna be schools surrounded by parking lots.
Yes, it is. It's tremendous. So, some of the kitchen upgrades, and there are some equipment in there that's, I don't hope it doesn't fail in the next 2 years, but it will likely fail in the next 2 years. It's been around for a long time, way longer than any of us have been here. If we're going to put some money into something that's not going to be multi-million-dollar, but something that's gonna be a good investment, you might want to consider replacing some of the kitchen equipment relatively soon. It's better to do it and plan it than have it fail and not have something and have to go out and do an emergency and try to find what you can find. The other items I know that are, not call them pressing needs, but issues that we have is, with storage. The issue is always an issue. When we took away the mobile storage here, all of our storage now is offsite. And so we pay rent on 3 storage units, and we could probably do 2 more. And it's money that goes out every month, and for those storage units, and we do go to them on a regular basis, and it takes hours to go through and pull things out, find things that you want, put them back in. So having a place where we can store things is quasi priority. It eats up time of the custodial maintenance staff to have to go do those activities and try to find things to bring back. But before they were outside, we could go out and look 5 minutes and come back in. Now when they're across town, a little more challenging, time consuming. So if you didn't want, as I said, if you wanted to take a break and come look at it again in 2 years, which of these areas should we consider thinking about focusing on a couple of years from now?
I'd like to see how the 10 new classrooms get filled and utilized, to see if we're still at capacity in a couple of years, or if it looks like we fill all those rooms up. And to me, that's always been the priority, space, in the classrooms.
Right.
I guess if we need to, the kitchen thing, I guess would be interesting to see, like, possible, I'd like to replace what we need to replace. Like, if there are things that are gonna go, and we have to be able to operate the kitchen, what's the cost on that? Just to replace some things, and, I don't know, improvements, I don't know what else that would be, like, if it would just be to, upgrade or to replace equipment, or.
Well, it's sort of twofold. The equipment would be the higher priority as far as the space goes, but the kitchen area itself is very tight, very cramped, very tight for storage. So we have coolers there. We have a cooler in the junior high maintenance office. Having a larger storage area for materials would eat into the next door spaces, which is either the elementary office or the band room. So it does pose a little bit of a problem. It's positioned there, sort of landlocked in between 2 spaces. I I can't afford to touch right now and move them off of them.
It seems like 4 and 3 are tied to 2. Like if you wanted to renovate 4, you move in
Yeah.
to
For sure.
that makes you form like, oh, maybe that's, I think you're mentioning turning some part of this into a fine arts area, then making 2. So it seems like a very big trickle type of thing. I mean, I'd be interested in knowing just like minimally, if we have to update equipment, let's get a price for some updated equipment, just like we have to, you know, when our AC unit went out or whatever.
Okay.
But I'm on this now, even if we have money, let it be there. We don't need to spend it. You know, I don't wanna do any parking lots up number 5 would not be of my interest. You know, it's great to have equity in classrooms, but not a high priority right now. They have 3 classrooms that are up to code, you know, furnitures and doors. If you have furniture. So, you know, I would like to be interested in hearing a little bit more about your ideas about what could we alternatively do that is cost effective for storage.
Those kind of things,
That's
like,
like-
because I know like with paying for storage and paying for the rental for where they're at,
Yeah.
for that.
Is it like, you know, a portable trailer home that's our own, or back to being a mobile versus building a whole entire ground up building? You know, just out of curiosity, you know, because that seems like, okay, because otherwise maybe, you know, that would mean like, hey, we should rather build in the 3-4 years from now, this, number 1 that's attached that we didn't finish the connection and have the spaces that we need to have there. But that's kind of like my roundabout thoughts, but.
When is the what the transportation is in now, that goes away or it's supposed to go away?
We have a 2-year lease on that, but we can extend the lease.
I guess that's my thing, like, if we keep doing that, like, I'd be interested to see the combo of like,
Yeah, if you keep on doing that, option 1, keep going that way and having your 3 spaces and having your building out there. What is that over 4 years versus like doing something else?
Cost wise, what is it?
Yeah.
what is it cost?
I'd love to see a breakdown of what we're paying over the next 5 years to maintain that storage space offsite, the administrative office offsite, and then the mobile.
Transportation.
5 years, I like
Transportation.
a 5 year.
Just if I could see the 5-year plan, cost for all 3, what that looks like, so I, you know, just something to base decisions off of. I did have a question on something that Stuart mentioned, that you could maybe answer too. That IDOT reference to a process taking longer than, you know, we hoped, is that a reference to the traffic study or something else?
No, so one of the options that we looked at this summer was to renovate our current parking lot out here. Right now, where we attach to Highway 176, those aprons are falling apart, falling down, so the culverts underneath those are supposed to move water, they're broken, water doesn't move, it backs up in our parking lot when it rains.
Right.
In order to fix those, because it touches the highway, it requires IDOT authorization.
Okay,
So
that's right.
we submitted paperwork to IDOT like October,
yes.
trying to get authorization to touch the aprons and fix them, and we don't have that yet.
And by the way, number 5 is it's this too. We drew the oval here, but it's all the existing paving. So it's taking it down to base, removing the base, compacting the base, keeping the drainage that's there, putting the curb gutter.
Yeah,
And
leveling.
just-
it
Yeah,
out, so that
rebuilding
goes-
it and doing a little reconfiguration to make it more efficient.
And so that project is dependent upon.
You can't do it without IDOT approval.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll happen, it's just.
So that traffic study, that was on Valley View?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
That was been completed.
And that was fine, right?
Well, the traffic study was done and submitted, it's been
Okay,
approved, I suppose, by IDOT.
okay.
What was the storage of culvert, so who's responsible for maintenance?
That's our responsibility, but it touches the state highway, so we need their authorization. We can repair them, we just can't replace them. We have repaired the asphalt over the years, but we can't replace the culverts, they're totally falling through. The last one where the buses enter and exit, it's totally gone. we noticed that when we built the asphalt last summer, that there's nothing there. We'll get the answers to those questions.
Any other?
Because when's our future solar array not being future and being our solar array?
We hope to have it installed here in '24. Again, it's a permitting issue, waiting on final authorizations from ComEd for the interconnect. Then on to the village of Prairie Grove for a permit.
Is that to scale? That's
No.
proportionate or no?
It's not, it's actually farther to the south on the other side of the berm. Is it to scale? No, not necessarily.
Okay. I was just curious, like, you know, in terms of size, because when they were talking about it initially, that was kind of hard to anticipate.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it could be more square shape, it could be more rectangular shape, depending on how it lays out on the ground.
Okay. So it won't quite be right there, and it might be a little bit bigger or smaller?
Correct. It might
Okay,
be,
that's approximate.
Yeah, it's more of just a diagram.
Okay,
it's in the general location of that, it's just farther to the south past the berm, that's past the track.
yeah.
District property go right up to the common easement.
Correct.
How far is the easement approximately from cables? Is it 30 feet or? Oh, I guess I haven't really looked at it.
No, yeah, it is a lot, it's a lot.
No, when you exclude the area where we're working now, it's about 11 and a half acres total, minus the solar array area that up to the common easement.
Okay. And finance wise, we're doing okay.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger bills, this month's bill was $1.3 million on construction. And you're gonna see those over the next few months, because this is the heavy construction time. That'll continue through September.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve second reading and adoption of board policy press 1.4 addition, deletions, and changes?
So,
Discussion? Yeah,
I think, yeah,
all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the second reading and adoption of extra duty job descriptions, additions, deletions, and changes?
so
Discussion? Is this something you worked with the unions
We do.
with and they reviewed it?
Correct.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve English Language Arts K-5 and Math 6 through 8 curriculum recommendations?
Second.
Okay, discussion. Questions? We have the curriculum sample sitting right there, so if you want to see it now or before or after. I had an interesting question. I was just like, from my own personal experience with my kids, like the math word books, half of them used to be empty because I still kept them. I'm like, oh, y'all can do this during the summer. So like, those are pretty big. They didn't go there in summer, but they're there. But those are pretty big. Thank you. Drive carefully. Those are pretty big workbooks that cost a lot. Do we expect to use the voluntary thing? Because like usually I felt like a lot of it was empty and maybe teachers were supplementing it with additional worksheets.
You mentioned the way that it's designed, because it should fit within our scope and sequence of their school calendar, so our intention is next year is to implement it with Final and try and stick with the scope and the sequence that's presented in Carnegie. Because will every single page be 100% completed? That's an instructional decision by a teacher, but I would anticipate that we would be getting through the vast majority of what's in there.
Lots of
That's
homework.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and then like, I guess, so, and you'll be checking throughout to make sure we're up,
We have plans to check in regulation.
yeah, to keep up with the scope and sequence to see how it's phasing in and then.
We're building some of our tier 2 interventions based on those modules as well, so there's a lot of moving pieces that have to coincide for all of it to work, so we'll be working closely with them.
And these are 3-year adoptions for both of them, for
6 year.
This is 6 for math,
6
right?
for math. I'm sorry, I read it, but I didn't.
I just read it.
Oh, that's right. We just talked about it.
3 was for, yeah. And so each year, is it a yearly payment then, for hospital 6 years after we would be making.
That is the conversation that I had with each company that we would bill us each year.
Okay,
And
Budgeting
did we,
purposes, that's makes
did
more
we
sense.
try to negotiate or ask for any freebies or anything like that, or discounts?
We got a lot of freebies. So I got we got a full year of, their boost for CKLA, which is their, it's like a pathway for the kids to do. That was a free one. We got some free, not free, reduced. I can't remember without looking at the quote exactly what else we got, but yeah,
Teacher licenses for free.
digital free, yep, good call, yep.
and cost-wise, it's pretty comparable, like, throughout, with everything out there, basically.
I'm gonna say that Amplify is probably the top of the line when it comes to cost. It's also what most people would consider the top of the line material for the science of reading.
So shall we, where were we at compared to your company?
She does reading.
I don't do, I mean,
You do science.
I do science now, but I don't actually make codes, so I don't even know what the codes are. I know what unit pricing is, but I just, in general, like, we can look up other school districts to see, but just, that's what they charge, that's what they charge. We haven't spent on curriculum like this in a long time.
We're in our third year of the math curriculum that we adopted 3 years ago. So it's been that long since but it's been a long time for English language arts and math on the junior high too.
Do you know how much we spent previously?
The math, 3 years ago, I want to say about 125,000. $114,000 now, I don't remember, but somewhere between 115 and 125, I think I know.
On math, and that was for what grades that time?
K-5,
K-5
yeah.
for 6 years or?
It was, I believe it was a 6-year, the benchmark, or the iReady was, I believe, a 6 years.
Are we still paying any other additional support licenses like to IXL or anything like that in addition to doing it on math curriculum, or is that?
Junior high,
Huh?
for the junior high? No, we're not, we will not continue with that Excel, I can't speak if like certain departments might utilize different resources, like some special education settings.
Right.
And is the school happy with, like, what we've been able to negotiate in with freebies and, or pricing discounts?
I was pleased with the CKLA, yes.
Dr. D?
I'm never pleased with it.
I knew you were gonna say
Are we gonna be able to afford it?
Well, we're building a budget now for next year. So we're roughly about 35% of that be on year one, and there's on years 2 and 3. Budget accordingly.
So that 3-year timeline turnover, is that about standard or what we would expect?
I don't expect us to turn it over in 3 years. I expect what we're doing in 3 years.
Okay, so that the previous curriculum that we had in place for 3 years for math, I think it was that a normal amount of time?
Yeah, 6 years is about the general amount of time
Okay,
that you were seeing these days. That's what I would usually go 6 years.
okay,
And I think we get a 6-year on CKLA, it'd be over $200,000 for 6 years. That's a really large number.
And usually PD drops off after the
Sure.
first couple of years.
Yeah, you have a year one.
Kashali, what did you say drops off?
Professional development.
Okay,
That's obviously an important part of the first year,
right,
and they pack it in. It's-
Yeah.
It's big for all new curriculums,
okay,
which we want, that is a benefit.
sure.
It's costly, but it's beneficial.
Yeah, otherwise you can't implement the building, so.
So on the Amplify, it does show at the very bottom there what they're saying the discount was. And they're selling a total discount of about 45,600.
That sounds about right, because Boost is probably 15,000, the digital component's probably 20.
Yeah, there's typically on digital components, there's a high margin, so you're allowed to like give it away, and there's nothing to busy with money. So
The premium.
that seems to be huge. Like they're shipping and handling $10,000, where are we shipping it from?
I think the East Coast.
Where it's still $10,000. Is that over the time frame? Like each year they divide it up? You're not getting all the books and everything in the first year.
No, we're still having to pay shipping on consumables going forward,
We'll still have to pay
I
separate.
believe, not $10,000, because this is all in the entire curriculum getting shipped. Subsequent years will be just the consumables, and that 10,000 will drop enormously, I mean, won't be nearly that much.
And they're gonna help you with the rostering and everything like that, setting you guys up.
Yes, oh yes.
It is what it is. It's good to have good curriculum and not homegrown anymore. Let the professionals teach. Anybody else have any questions, concerns?
Can we rent a U-Haul truck?
We have a little hang up about the
The
shipping.
shipping is like, holy cow, I don't know. But I don't, yeah, what do you do about it?
No, there's nothing.
There's nothing
Yeah.
you can do.
But I have nothing to compare this to.
That's why I don't know.
It's more handling than shipping.
Okay, if we see no more questions, y'all ready to spend some money? Where did it go? Oh, yeah, roll call vote. Steve Sebastian,
Yes.
Wayne Bialek,
Yes.
David Costa,
Yes.
Stephanie House,
Yes.
Kashali Shaw. Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you.
We just wrap it up for you guys, right? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes regular and executive session minutes from April 16, 2024, bills payable, treasurer's report, consolidated district plan 2024-25, and final 2023-24 school calendar.
So moved.
Second.
What's the consolidated district plan?
That is the unified plan that ISB requires to get any grant.
That's a new one.
It's been going on for a number of years.
Okay,
And the school calendar is just because of the additions, correct?
Every year at the end of the year, we have to knock off the unused emergency days and resubmit a final calendar, actual days attended.
we have a tornado coming in, you might be a little.
Hey, well, just only a watch.
Somehow, we're always.
Okay, let's go, anybody questions? Okay, roll call vote. Steve Sebastian,
Yes.
Gwen Bialek,
Yes.
David Costa,
Yes.
Stephanie House,
Yeah.
Kashali Shaw. Yes. Motion carried. May I have a motion to approve resolution 2024-05 of recognition and appreciation?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Let's see.
So we have 4 staff members that are retiring this year, with, almost 100 years of service in the district. 2 teachers, a paraprofessional, speech pathologist, been here a long time. They've done a great job with the students here. We will miss them. And so this is a resolution we started doing a number of years ago to honor those folks. So everyone will sign copies of the resolution tonight. We'll give them a copy of it as well and a gift on behalf of the board.
Yes, we appreciate everybody's service, so discussion, roll call vote please. Gwen Bialek,
Yes.
David Costa,
Yes.
Stephanie House,
Yes.
Steve Sebastian, Kashali Shaw. Yes. Motion carried. May I have a motion to approve resolution 2024-06 for the expenditure of funds prior to adoption of FY25 budget?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Again, a resolution we've done for a number of years now, officially, you're not supposed to spend money until you have a budget approved. We don't really make our budget finalized until September, which is the end of the first quarter. So in order to pay bills in July and August, prior to approving the budget in September, we need this resolution that allows us to do that.
So it's roll call vote, please. Gwen Violet,
Yes.
David Costa,
Yes.
Stephanie House,
Yes.
Steve Sebastian,
Yes.
Michelle Shaw. Yes. Motion carried. May I have a motion to authorize the PGTA post-retirement MOU for 2024-2025?
So moved.
Second.
So according to the current PGTA collective bargaining agreement, the board is required to annually either say yes or no to authorizing the post-retirement MOU. This year, we have one teacher that qualified for that payment. You can see the history of since 2015, 2016. Number of teachers have taken advantage of that over the years. There's no reason the board should not offer that next year. If you so approve that, we'll notify the union. And then anyone who retires by January the 10th of 2025 for next year and meets the conditions of the MOU would receive a post-retirement payment from the district.
Questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please. David Costa,
Yes.
Stephanie House,
Yes.
Steve Sebastian,
Yes.
Gwen Violet,
Yes.
Michelle Shaw. Yes. Motion carried. May I have a motion to approve food service contract with the Organic Life July 1st week? Did I skip something? Okay, may I have a motion? Erase all that. May I have a motion to approve the student transportation minibus lease for 2024 to 2027. Motion.
Why is it triple?
When we need the motion, say yes and yes.
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 Thank you. Discussion.
Okay, so a couple of years ago, we entered into the large bus lease, and the minibus lease is on a separate contractual terms. So there's on a 3-year lease, the big bus is on a 2-year lease. Our current lease is up. We still have a need for more units. We're going from 3 unit minibuses to 4. So there's an increase in the number of units. These are new buses, and yes, there is a ginormous lease cost in there. Your options are to buy buses outright. That's also cost prohibitive. While this is not a nice price, it is the best term that we could get at this point in time. Am I happy with it? No. But we still need these particular units. We need them to be here when school starts in the fall for student transportation.
I'm flabbergasted.
I
I don't
I'm
know.
appalled, actually.
I think this is like a conspiracy and it's not good. This is not good.
There are only a few limited number of bus companies out there that produce buses. We originally were going back with, I believe, the Chevy buses that we have now. These are going to be Fords, just because of what Midwest could obtain for us and already have. It is the price. I really can't fix it. I would love to. If you don't want to accept it, we will lose our minibuses because that lease is up. I suppose we I could inquire about extending our current lease, but that would leave us a unit short for transportation for next year. We would be in a situation where we need to buy a vehicle in a relatively short time frame.
By a vehicle being what size vehicle is it?
We use the minibuses for the ECU program for transportation because all the seats there are in harnesses. So all these seats have seatbelts in them. We also have a number of special needs students that get transported to programs that are required to be in a vehicle with a harness.
I'm not understanding, because we're listing here 33 riders, 31 riders,
Yeah,
we're
it's
saying,
a smaller bus.
right, but then if we did and we renewed our, we extended whatever, a lease, and then you're saying we don't have to buy a vehicle? How does it,
I only have three units right now, and 4.
31 rider things?
I need a 4th bus in order to transport the number of students that we know are going to be enrolled in the fall, have needs to be in a bus requirements.
A bus with the harness, but do they, if we didn't have a bus, could they fit in the car?
I don't have a car. Look for that. I suppose they could, but we generally, on these buses, put more than one student on different locations. So like right now, we have a bus with 3 or 4 students on it. They go to different locations in Crystal Lake, Woodstock, Algonquin, Libertyville, a variety of places.
But a car can't take, like one of those, what, like we have those minivans,
The vans,
isn't that still, like?
the van would be cheaper to outright buy, that's correct. But then you can only use it to transport 2 or 3 students, you can use it for other purposes. We also use these buses for routes during the day, midday routes for ECD students.
So the 31 riders, 33 riders, that's not simultaneously at one time, that's throughout the day?
Now, that's the capacity of the bus.
Oh, that's the capacity, okay,
31
So-
miles, 33 miles.
okay.
Maybe smaller buses are charging us more.
Is this like the same problem like 47 has, like when it comes, I mean, I remember 2 years ago, I thought I heard the prices had tripled.
Our big buses went up to 62% of these.
Okay, so, and now they're doing it to get this lease,
Correct.
so we did it for one lease,
We
right?
did.
Okay, I thought, I was like, wow, this is
That's the
deja
big bus.
vu on
Big
every
buses,
issue.
yes.
So this is the smaller bus that has the harnesses to transport, okay.
There's nothing else creative, I mean, like, we have to pay this, like,
It is cheaper than buying buses.
is that the cost for 3 years, or is that the cost for a?
That's the annual cost.
Oh,
That's the annual
That's
cost.
the annual lease cost, yes.
what is their explanation for bumping it up like 60-some%?
They can,
That's
they
You
can.
know, maybe I don't.
Yeah, you're right.
Big ones, you get 2 years old.
Actually, we used to give the buses 2 years old, the new ones, and the current one is our buses that we released at a high price. That was the COVID years when they didn't make any buses.
Is releasing our current ones even an option?
The mini buses,
Or do you buy them out?
we don't buy that, no, they're leased, yeah,
But at the end of the lease, you can't buy them out.
we never asked.
Is this something that has kind of been price shopped with a couple of different vendors? Or how does that work?
We utilize our current vendor, Midwest Transit out of Kankakee. That's someone we, I'm in contact with us, do that one. Same vendor we've used for a number of years.
What about the one from like Zurich, or isn't there one like out in?
So that's the bus that Steve was referencing. Lake Zurich used to start by, lease the buses from Midwest, used it for 2 years. We got them for year 3 and 4 under warranty. They stopped doing that. That was big buses only. That was a great deal for us because those buses were low mileage, they held up
Is that
well.
like Lake Zurich School District?
Correct.
Does any other school district do that? Like what Lake Zurich did so we can?
That's just where the kid.
That's just where
they-
It doesn't have anything to do with. the
Right,
school.
no, I don't think we do it for 25. It's just where they.
Questions? Just really.
I don't even know if you have any.
Is
Move
this,
it aside.
So that's what you-
I mean, these numbers are astronomical.
Yes.
Is extending the current lease even an option? Or do they want them back so they can go sell them for more? But they're gonna raise it.
I'll have to inquire. I have to find out. The full cost of this particular one will be $365,000 if we get it fully out, so. Let me, if you want to know that, I can find out, don't lease our current buses back to us, what it costs.
But we still need
But I
another.
still need a fourth.
But they're gonna raise.
Oh, I'm sure.
They raise money every once in a while, so that's what I'm sure.
I feel like
Right,
this
the
is-
only deal is already charges that I'm aware of, what they're charging to the unit. Right.
And then you will get one.
These, this would be 3, 4.
And that'll be more.
If you recall, when a couple of years ago, when we had our bus that was in an accident and it was undrivable for a while, we had to go lease a bus, and that lease was $100,000 for a year.
Jeez.
So just to come back to that question, you're saying there aren't other vendors that we can essentially get competitive quotes from?
Not at this point in time.
Okay.
We wouldn't get to the time. We did it.
Did we just get this quote recently?
Since the last meeting.
Yeah, it's just tough because it feels like our hands are tied at this point and they know they have us on the hook because we're in a pinch.
You need buses.
We need buses and it's too late in the season to look elsewhere.
There's
Um,
probably still a shortage of it, of them, between why it's like that.
This is why I'm okay coming in under budget on the construction because, yeah, it's new ovens apparently and, yeah. kitchen equipment
Of course, 30% of the tables.
Well, then let's go ahead and go to roll call vote. Stephanie Housh,
Yes.
Steve Sebastian,
Yes.
Gwen Bielek,
Yes,
David Costa,
Yes.
Rochelle Shaw. Yes. Motion carried. Okay, may I have a motion to approve food service contract with the Organic Line July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025?
So
second,
Discussion?
who was our previous, again, effective year?
Prior to Organic Life.
Yeah.
Harbor Management.
They're not, yeah, they're not.
How long have we had Organic Life now?
This will be our 4th renewal.
And how are they doing?
I've heard mixed reviews.
You're gonna get mixed reviews from nearly every food service vendor.
That's my only question, it's like, yeah,
That's
what,
not gonna change.
do you know who 47 uses? Do they use them too?
No. There's, I wanna say is Sodexo. We
Do we give them feedback?
do.
Anybody else have any questions? This is very expensive. Discussion, none more. Okay, roll call vote. Steve Sebastian,
Yes.
Gwen Bielek,
yes,
David Costa,
Yes.
Stephanie House,
Yes.
Michelle Shaw. Yes. Motion carried. May I have a motion to award the lowest responsible bidder for selected asbestos remediation in summer 2024?
So moved.
second.
Discussion.
Just the wording of that.
So this is the asbestos abatement that is needed to be done for internal renovations for the summer. You'll see on the picture, we're talking about 9 classroom locations where there's carpet and glue mastic that needs to be abated. The bids range from $81,500 to $158,000. The bid that came in at $81,500 is the bid that we've used before. They've been vetted, that's who the recommendation is, Wakanda. That is the one I'm recommending you should go with.
That's in our budget and everything
It
already.
is.
And it's the lowest bidder.
That's the lowest.
That's correct.
Budget and lowest bidder, that's okay.
Is Alan Harvest, Bassett or whatever, is that the hygienist?
Yeah, that's our technical consultant that does all the testing.
The air monitor and stuff like that.
Correct.
He does the food force.
Correct.
Okay, roll call vote. Steve Sebastian,
Yes.
Gwen Bielek,
Yes,
David Costa,
Yes.
Stephanie House,
Yes.
Michelle Shaw. Motion carried. Okay, may I have a motion to go into executive session at 8:14 PM for the consideration of matters related to the appointment, employment, compensation, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, collective negotiating matters between the district and its employees or their representatives.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And just for the audience's information, there'll be no board action when the board returns, except for adjournment.